Alex Pereira is stepping into the octagon for the 4th time this year. He is defending his belt for the 3rd time, and he's not even the most active fighter on this card. Kevin Holland is. We have a stacked pay-per-view this weekend. UFC 307 is at elevation, though, and that might affect some of our bets. My name is Angelo. This is We Want Picks, and I'm going to give you my bets for UFC 307. But before we drool all over UFC 307, let me remind you that we have an incredible 4-week span heading out of here. We have UFC 307 this weekend. We have 2 really good fight nights after that, and then UFC 308. In a 30-day period, we have a spectacular run to wind down the rest of this year. And I'm mentioning that because we've done quite well up until this point, and I imagine we will do quite well from this point on as well. So if you do want to unlock all the picks, the bets, the tools, and everything else, you can do that now. Just go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. It's $10 for an entire month. And that month will include all 4 events that I just walked you through. 2 pay-per-views, UFC 307 and UFC 308. UFC 308 could literally be the best card of this entire year. Here's a quick look of how we've done with pay-per-views this year. 2024 has had, I believe, 10 pay-per-views so far. And on those 10 pay-per-views, we've given you over 11 units of profit, a 10% ROI, and we have won 7 of those 10 pay-per-views. You can't win every single week, but we get real close. If you do want to unlock all of our bets for UFC 307, you can do that now. And it's not just copy-paste bets. You're also going to get tools. For those of you who like to do your own research and deep dive, if you want to do your own tape study, we have a tool that gives you the videos to watch the tape study. It brings you data, information, insight that you can filter and export. You're going to get tools like the Prop Hunter, curated set of data specifically designed to help you find prop bets. You're going to get tools like the Line Movement Tracker so you can monitor line movement, follow your favorite fighter up or down, and hop on before that value is gone. Every single thing I just mentioned. Only $10 for an entire month. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. Before I reveal some of my bets, let me just talk about the favorites and the underdogs that I do like on this card. We're going to speak in generalities. There's 2 favorites missing on this list. Alex Pereira is one of them, and so is Kayla Harrison. Kayla Harrison's line is too far gone, minus 1,200. We had some bets on her earlier in the week at minus 650, but it has doubled essentially. So that line's pretty gone. I wasn't going to waste the slot there for her. And Alex Pereira is not on here because I think he's going to win. But I'm not going to put him on a list of my most confident favorites. He is fighting a southpaw with power and speed that might be a problem. Either way, we have some other favorites that I do like. Tecia Pennington, minus 170. If you saw the pictures leading up to this fight, if you see what Carla Esparza looks like right now, that minus 170 looks like a deal. Carla Esparza is coming back after a full 2-year layoff. She had a child. This is her retirement fight. And she's not the only person to leave the sport, have a baby, come back. But I think she's the only one to leave a sport, have a baby, come back for one and only one fight. Full-blown retirement. There is not another fight coming after this. It's got to be a little hard to get motivated for that. The reality is, Tecia Pennington is in spectacular shape. She looked like she was in great shape in her last fight. She's got decent takedown defense, incredible cardio, and elevation may matter here. I like Tecia Pennington to get it done, defend a couple of takedowns early. Carla will undoubtedly slow down if her body is an indication, and I'm not trying to body shame, but that's all we can really do until we see the fight is what kind of shape does this person look like they are in. And there is an eye test. And while Carla Esparza, to go from professional athlete defending her world title to having a human being to getting back to fighting in a cage is a wild journey to go on, it does look like this is definitely her last fight. So Tecia Pennington looking pretty good at minus 170. Cesar Almeida, minus 400. This is kickboxer versus kickboxer in a cage with small gloves. Cesar Almeida is the better kickboxer, the more dangerous kickboxer. For those reasons, I have to be pretty confident in him. Now, if he was fighting somebody with great takedowns, great wrestling, this would be a different conversation, but he's not. He's fighting a fellow striker who can be chinny. Cesar should get it done. Joaquin Buckley. This seems to be a controversial one. A lot of people loving Wonderboy Thompson this week, and I love Wonderboy Thompson. He's one of my favorite fighters to ever do it. I've been watching this sport for a very long time. I remember his title run. I remember when he showed up into the UFC, when he would still do the backflip. I don't think he does the backflip anymore. And you know why? Because he's got old man hips and legs. He's got an old man back. He's 42 or 41 years old. That is old in this sport. And the lighter you are in a weight class, the older you look. I think Wonderboy Thompson's going to struggle a little bit with Joaquin Buckley's speed, and certainly if Joaquin wants to wrestle. Is he the best wrestler that Wonderboy has fought? No. But Wonderboy has lost to a lot of wrestlers. His last 3 fights are to people who took him down. And I think Joaquin Buckley can get it done. I'm pretty confident in him, and I'll show you the bet I have on him in a minute. Raquel Pennington, the main event. Raquel Pennington lives at elevation, trains at elevation. Raquel Pennington is a very sound, very technically skilled fighter. Is she dangerous? No. Is she somebody that's going to put herself in harm's way? Absolutely not. Nice and clean with the striking, nice and clean with the grappling, knows how to win minutes, knows how to win fights. I think she gets it done. Her opponent's coming back after 2 full years away. Her opponent hasn't beat anybody of any caliber outside of that fluke against Amanda Nunes, that where Amanda Nunes just completely gassed after beating the piss out of her. So I think Raquel Pennington gets it done, and we get another discount. My only concern with the 2 Penningtons on this card is they are married. And that's a lot of sensitivity going on there. Meaning, Raquel Pennington needs to focus on her fight. She needs to be selfish. She's defending her world title for the very first time, but she's not. She's going to be all about her wife's fight. And how is that going? And she's going to be stressed about that. And there's a lot of nerves that come with caring for somebody else. So hopefully Tecia Pennington runs through in her fight, and Raquel, all the cares in the world are gone, and she can focus on herself the next few hours before making that walk in the co-main event. Couple of solid underdogs on this card as well. Court McGee, he's only plus 60 right now. I got him at plus 195. I will show you that in a second. The reality is it's kind of a low-level fight. We got a couple of 40-plus-year-old men who have had durability issues going at elevation. Court McGee is not the more dangerous fighter in this mashup, but he has looked better recently. He just fought Alex Morono. He looked good. He took a round off Alex Morono. Was landing clean, nice combinations. Where Tim Means, his opponent, was just asleep out the door in his last fight. Marina Rodriguez, plus 175. I have picked Eisman Lucindo to win this fight, her opponent. But Eisman Lucindo, in all likelihood, needs to grapple to win. If this is not at elevation, if this was UFC Vegas 98, for example, I would be on Eisman Lucindo, and you would not see Marina Rodriguez's name in the solid underdog list here. But the reality is, it is at elevation. And grappling is the most exhausting thing you can do. So all of a sudden, we need Eisman Lucindo to keep her cardio, to wrestle her ass off for 15 full minutes, because Marina's not somebody you're just going to get out of there quickly. And I don't know if we can trust Eisman to do that. We haven't seen her push her cardio at an intense pace yet, let alone at elevation. Marina Rodriguez hasn't looked amazing lately, but she is still tried, true, has power in her hands, okay takedown defense, and elevation might matter here. Roman Dolidze, I flat out think he wins this fight. I also don't know why I can't settle into this freaking chair. Roman Dolidze is the much better grappler. It is not even remotely close who the better grappler is. And before you say, well, Kevin Holland's a black belt. Yeah, there's levels to everything. Kevin Holland is a black belt. Good for him. That's an amazing accomplishment. He got a black belt for training jiu-jitsu. Roman Dolidze is a world champion. And not like a fake paper world champion. Look what he did. We've seen him do it in the octagon to other black belts. He fought Jack Hermanson. When they were on the ground for 5 seconds, how did that fight go? What did he do to fellow very scary, very good black belt in Jack Hermanson? He smoked him. Smoked him. It wasn't even remotely close. There are levels to everything in this sport. And I fully understand that Kevin Holland is a black belt, but Roman Dolidze is a completely different level. Roman Dolidze also can bomb away. He's got power in his hands. He's insanely durable. And Roman Dolidze can wrestle. I don't know if he will. That's always the problem with Roman. You don't know what he's going to stick to. We do know that Kevin Holland can't defend takedowns. So hopefully Roman comes in here with the proper game plan, does what he's supposed to do. But I like him at plus money. And then Jose Aldo. Listen, I ended up picking Mario Batista because similar to everything I just talked about with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, eventually you get old and you slow down. And this is not a sport for the old and the slow. And I did keep going back and forth because Jose Aldo didn't look old or slow earlier this year when he fought. He didn't look like he slowed down at all. So it's very hard for me to just confidently pick against Jose. So he's on the solid underdogs list. He's one of the greatest fighters in the history of this sport. He has some of the best takedown defense we have ever seen in any weight class. Phenomenal leg kicks, good offensive striking, still fast. The big question will be, when will Jose Aldo look old? Everybody looks old. It's just a matter of when. Will it be this fight? Is it a few fights from now? But underdog-wise, plus money for the greatest to ever do it, who has only lost to world champions and Marlon Moraes. Here's a look at my actual bets. I got more bets than usual on the board as far as volume is concerned, spending about the same amount of money. If you're new here and you don't know what units are or how you use them, a unit is an increment of money. You can get all sorts of crazy and ridiculous with your explanation and bankroll and all that bullshit, but the reality is a unit is an increment of money. For me, a unit's $100. So going into a fight weekend, I'm comfortable spending anywhere from $300 to $500 on those fights. You might be comfortable spending $30 to $50. Somebody else might be comfortable spending $30,000 to $50,000. So we talk in units to normalize it because that's how you can gauge confidence. If I'm spending $100 and you only have $10 to spend, and I say I'm putting $100 on this, to you, it's like, that's a crazy, oh my God, he must be the most confident guy in the world. But one unit is just confident, right? One unit is good, confident. I'm pretty sure this happens. Lower than a unit is like, I'm going to put some money on this and we're hoping for the best, but I'm not as confident. And more than a unit is like, this is a guarantee. So there's your scale. This is at elevation, so I attack this with a little bit of caution. I have several bets that are under a unit and then a couple that I am much more confident in. Under a unit, we got Court McGee, a quarter of a unit. Listen, the odds are phenomenal. There's no reason to put a chunk of money on a 40-something-year-old man. I do think Court McGee wins this fight. His hands actually look decent in his last fight. I think the wrestling can be there. Court McGee is a guy that you can trust is putting in the time in the gym. He works hard. He doesn't slow down. He's not an athlete. He doesn't have any natural gifts from God, but he works his ass off. And when you're at elevation, you want a guy that works his ass off. I think Court McGee can get in some takedowns, steal some minutes, potentially win this fight. Quarter of a unit at plus 195. Only a quarter because he's old and chinny. Then I have the prop for the round under in the Kayla Harrison-Ketlin Vieira fight. Again, only a quarter of a unit. That was one I considered putting a little more because I do think Kayla Harris finishes Ketlin Vieira. But the only reason I didn't full-blown pull the trigger on more money is because Ketlin Vieira's takedown defense is 92%. And yes, the whole speech I just gave you about levels to this apply here as well. Kayla Harrison is quite literally the greatest American, male or female, Olympic judo practitioner of all time. Of all time. Two-time Olympic gold medalist, multiple-time world champion. Ketlin Vieira has a judo black belt. They are not the same. If Ketlin engages in a grappling match, she's tossed on her ass. Tossed. Immediately tossed. I just don't know if she will. She's huge. I don't think she'll be physically stronger, but she's much bigger. And if she just wants to stick and move and pump a jab and stay on the outside, I don't think she's going to win this fight no matter what, but she may be able to stay alive and not get finished. So under 2.5 on a female fight, we got some plus money, threw a little bit on that because I do think Kayla can toss her ass down and finish her same exact way she did Holly Holm. But lots of questions there. Then I have a full unit on a parlay, Raquel Pennington and Kayla Harrison. These bets have been placed for a week or more. Kayla Harrison's odds at the time I placed this are very different than her odds are now. That parlay is not going to be minus 116 now, but it may be minus 120, minus 130. And even then, I think this is a good deal. I'm very confident in both of those women to get it done. I absolutely think that both Penningtons win, Kayla Harrison wins, and people who despise betting on women's MMA, unfortunately for you, the female fights are the most confident ones on this card for most people. Then Joaquin Buckley. I just went straight money line. Because if you watch this, first of all, I got a lot of things to say to you people. If the only thing you do is watch this free video, you've been very profitable these last couple of months. This free video has been giving you winning bet after winning bet after winning bet. So if you want to support us and give a little thank you, go to WeWantPicks.com, become a premium member. It's only $10, and it's wildly supportive, and you're going to unlock a whole bunch of shit. But also, if you've been watching this free video, what you know about me is I'm a pretty conservative guy. I'm not going to throw 28 units at the board, and I'm not chasing plus 900 payouts. Not doing that. That's just not who I am as a gambler. Jacob's a little closer to that. Not as extreme as I just made it out to be, but Jacob will take a little more risks. And the reason I'm bringing that up is I have Joaquin Buckley straight at -200. And that's because as I look across the board, there's not a ton of parlays I want to do. There's not a ton of exposure I want to have. I'm not going to parlay risky fighters, and I'm not going to have the same fighter exposed into multiple different parlays. There were people last week bragging about, I'm so confident Benoit Saint-Denis, I have him in 5 different parlays, 10 different parlays. I have Benoit Saint-Denis across the board. And then what happened to every single one of those? You got smoked. So I don't overly expose any individual fighter or individual prop, because it's not worth the risk. These are fist fights, and this is a fist fight at elevation. Anything can happen. That whole speech is to say, I went money line on Joaquin Buckley. It is not affordable. It's -200. It's a little worse now. But if I'm looking at the slate, there is not a whole slew of fighters, and I'm like, positive. It's certainly not affordable one. So I do think Joaquin Buckley, the speed, the grappling, I think all of that is going to matter here. But I don't trust him enough to pair him up with some other people and some other components. So straight up on Joaquin Buckley. Then I have a prop bet for premium members only, +215, that I am very, very confident in. And I have Roman Dolidze money line, +141. Got that a little while ago. If you're a premium member, you saw all of these bets. You've seen them all week, and you got much better odds than exist in the wild today. The line movement on these alone cover the $10 for premium. Literally. I got better odds on Court McGee than you're going to get. I got better odds on Kayla Harrison than you're going to get. I got better odds on the under for that fight that you're going to get. Better odds on Joaquin Buckley you're going to get. That prop bet that's hidden, I got better odds on that. The safety parlay is better odds. And Roman Dolidze money line is better odds. Every single one of these bets, I got better odds. And I think Roman Dolidze gets it done. All the reasons I mentioned before. He hits like a freight train. He's got phenomenal wrestling. His jiu-jitsu is unbelievable. Let me back up. He's got good wrestling. His jiu-jitsu is phenomenal. And I think it's a very clear path to victory. You don't know if he'll take that path, which is why I didn't go all in on a full unit, because you don't know if he'll take the path. But if Roman Dolidze does what he's supposed to do, come forward, tight guard, get your hands on the guy, rip him to the ground, Roman Dolidze is going to look like he should have been a -500. And then we have the safety parlay. You can unlock my premium prop, the safety parlay, and any other bets that I'm going to continue to place heading into fight week right now. $10 a freaking month. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. That includes this card, UFC 308, the 2 fight nights in between. Here's a quick look at Jakey Boy. His underdog lock of the week is Jose Aldo. He put a unit and a half on him at +135. He beat some of that line movement. I don't think Jose is going to full on turn into a favorite. I think he's a little too old for people to jump on that. But certainly his odds are tightening come fight night. And honestly, the weigh-ins might change some minds as well, and it'll continue to tighten, but I think he'll stay an underdog. And then Jakey Boy has a parlay. Tecia Pennington and Alex Pereira. He's confident in both of them. Slap them together. Almost even money, not quite. And he's got a whole bunch more bets. If all goes well for Jacob, which it can, meaning he doesn't have conflicting bets. It's not like he has so-and-so to win in round 1 and that same person to win in round 2. Every single one of his bets, in theory, could hit. And if they all do, 13 units coming back to him. And that's before all the bets are placed. This is being filmed before weigh-ins. This is being filmed before all the books drop all the bets. If you want to unlock everything else, $10 a month, you know where to go. Here's a quick look at Bet Openly. We talked about odds. I talked about how I beat most of these odds. If you want even better odds, go to Bet Openly. Bet Openly is not a sports book. Their goal is to not beat you and take your money. The rest of the world, it's us versus the books, right? We're trying to whoop DraftKings ass. We're trying to get Bet Online all of their money. We're trying to beat these books. We're looking at the odds saying, you're stupid, I'm smart, I'm going to beat you. That's not what Bet Openly does. All Bet Openly does is facilitate bets between human beings. So there's still the you're stupid, I'm not, but it's between me and you. Me and a stranger, not me and the sports book. So what Bet Openly does, because they don't care who wins or loses, they don't need to build in all that extra juice. All they're doing is charging a 1% fee to the winner so that they can run the website and keep things going. A sports book, an even money fight is -110, -110. Because that 10% buffer on each side is how they make their money. For Bet Openly, an even money fight is +100, +100. And then if you're the guy who won, they take 1 single percent. Check them out. WeWantPicks.com/bet openly. Here's a quick look at those 4 events. It matters very much. The quality of the events matters very much, especially when I'm telling you it's only $10 for an entire month, because that month matters, right? Some months are better than others. Well, this is maybe the best 30-day slot we got going on. We got a big pay-per-view with the UFC's biggest draw this weekend. We have 2 very good fight nights with 2 very good main events. And then we have UFC 308, which it's on paper right now, it is one of the best cards of the year. Obviously, UFC 300 was this year, but on paper, it's one of the best cards of the year, and it certainly could deliver as the best card as well. And if you want $50, I'll send you 50. Go to WeWantPicks.com/bets. Use the affiliate link to sign up with any one of our sportsbook partners, make a deposit, and we send you $50 as a thank you. You're going to sign up. You're going to make a new account, make a deposit. They're going to pay me. I'm going to slice off some of that money and give it right back to you as a thank you. Good luck this weekend, and let's hope elevation doesn't bite us all in the ass.